an all-timer for good time's sakes. Ben coming in.
Oh, that was a banger.
Oh, from the top rope. Welcome in, one and all, to the 200th episode of Scramble Drill, folks. We have this tradition. Well, Ben has this tradition where when we are introing the show, whoever is hosting, Ben tries to come in there right as the timer for the record just drops down to 0 and we're getting rolling. He comes in here from the top rope with a one-liner, and he might have just dropped his best one yet.
It's mildly political, but we'll leave that out of the show.
Oh my gosh. Today
It was good.
Today is the 200th episode. I didn't think we'd get there. I did not think.
See, I never had any doubts.
You know, now that you really met, like, I don't know that I ever had doubts, but it's a wonderful time. I'm very excited I'm just very excited to be recording a 200th episode. I've had a blast over, how long have we been doing this? 2 years? 3 years?
3 years? I think we're in year 3.
Wow. That's fantastic.
This might be the most us episode ever, by the way. Like, we didn't really plan much. It was all last minute. I'm literally in an underdog best ball draft right now that I didn't actually mean to get into. I was kind of screwing around in the app and accidentally entered. So, during the episode, I may stop us and ask us who we think I should take. So there's that part. But, I mean, that's very us, I feel like.
Yeah, so
we fly by the seat of our pants here.
We're absolutely flying by the seat of our pants. Here's what we're going to do. We open this up to the Scramble Drill Listener League, and we're going to do a mock draft here. We've got people waiting in here for us to get going on this, but we're doing a mock draft with the OGs, with the homies. We're also just going to reminisce a bit about some of our best takes, worst takes, how strategies evolved, different things like that. There's a lot of fun things.
Yeah, we kind of opened it up to, like, asked around, like, hey, you know, if you've been listening to the show, you know, we're doing to episode 200. What do you want to hear us talk about in the episode? So we'll kind of be doing the mock, shooting the breeze, and hopefully be good.
Are y'all ready for a 200 episode mock draft?
I don't think they can hear us, Josh.
No, they can't. I'm talking to you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So we're going to do a 12-team.
Live streaming, you idiot.
Yeah, 12-team, one quarterback, PPR, mock draft. I have hit start.
This is a redraft, correct?
This is redraft.
Oh my gosh, the sleeper soundtrack just deafened me.
I am currently quite deaf. The little ding-dings, I'm quite deaf. So 101 in a PPR, one quarterback, you have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley goes at 3, CeeDee Lamb goes at 4. That's pretty wild.
This is a smash, easy pick for you.
Yeah, it's Bijan at 5 for me.
Yeah, and 6 is also really easy for me, my boy Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep. Derrick Henry goes to the computer at 7, and now we have...
Also, I'm about to be on the clock in an actual money league. Hold on. All right, Quinshon Judkins, Chris Olave, Jordan Addison, David Montgomery. Who we taking here?
That was Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Addison. What else?
Or Joe Burrow, Jordan Addison, David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins.
What round are you in?
Round 5. Quick, I have 7 seconds. I might take Burrow.
Oh, gosh. I might go...
I took Burrow.
Okay. I was going to say Judkins, but that's fine. In the mock here, we've got a couple real-life picks being made here. We've got Malik Neighbors at the 108. That is wild. Over Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't hate it. I can appreciate it. Puka Nacua at the 10th pick. Nico Collins goes at 111. Brian Thomas at 112. Ashton Genty goes at the 2-1. Brock Bowers at the 2-2. Devon Achane at the 2-3. And we've got Alex here on the clock at 2:04. So you took Burrow in a real-life draft just now?
Yeah. In round 5, it's best ball. I panicked. It's like 15 seconds a pick, and I'm distracted by this right now. I didn't mean to enter this draft. It was complete accident.
You're just messing around on
But
underdog.
I'm like,
and
all
you're
right.
like,
Oh crap! I'm on the clock again. Shoot. Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakir, Pacheco.
you know Jaden Reed's pretty
Golden.
good in. Take Jaden Reed. It's best
took
ball.
Golden.
Oh gosh.
I panicked, dude. I looked down and didn't realize it. There's 2 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, so we have Christian McCaffrey at the 204 in the mock draft. Now switching gears. Drake London at the 205, Lab McConkey at the 206, and Ben, you're on the clock again.
All right. Let's take a breath. Let's breathe a second. All right, Ladd, Drake goes off the clock. McCaffrey. I feel like this is right for A.J. Brown. He should be going here.
Interesting. So, Huh.
Of the receivers that came off the board, like we talked about, in Landon and I's Dynasty episode of, BTJ, Puka, Neighbors, those guys that are, even London, that I want to feel good about where, having one of those guys on the Dynasty team. But even in a redraft and even somewhat in Dynasty, A.J. Brown, I think, still has a top 5 ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm not going to project these there, but I think he has a top 5 ceiling. So middle of the second round is a good spot for him.
I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba here with my second round pick, and I'm just going to, oh, shoot. I almost took Trey McBride at the 208. I'm not going to lie to you.
I almost took him at my pick, too.
That was going to be my pick until I thought about it a little bit, and then I kind of talked myself out of it. Jaden Daniels is here at the 3-5. Maybe by not
That's
taking
interesting.
a quarterback, I've opened myself up to some Jaden Daniels business. Man, you've got usually third round, it's dead for running backs. There's some really good ones. I think I can wait there. Golly, man, this is tough. I'm just going to go Marvin Harrison there in the third.
Interesting, Marvin. I like Jaden here. There's a few players that I'm very interested in. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Brees.
Okay.
I'm gonna give my boy a shot.
Was Jaden Daniels on the radar for you there? I'm trying to figure
Yes,
when
he absolutely was.
when does he need to
Jaden
be
Daniels
taken?
and T. Higgins were both very much in my mind.
Okay. So T. Higgins goes right after you took Brees. I did think about Brees. Taking Brees in the third round feels so weird. I know it's June and we're doing some funky mock draft stuff, but Brees Hall in the third round just sounds like something is going wrong.
I think people are low on Brees, man. I think it's gone too far. I think they're going to lean on him. I think he was hampered a lot by injuries last year, so I think he's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not out on Brees like the rest of the community seems to be.
We've got Jaden Daniels going at the 308, Jalen Hurts at the 3-9. So we've got a run on quarterbacks going here. And this puts our buddy Landon on the clock where he gets to make a lovely decision. He went Puka Nacua and Devon Achane the first 2 rounds. I'm curious where some of these onesies end up going.
Kyron Williams.
We got Kyron Chase Brown.
Kyron at the 310 is a good pick.
I think so,
That's
too.
a good pick.
Honestly, I considered him at the 305, and he goes to the 310.
I was looking
There's
at him at
Kittle.
3-6. It was him or Brees. Kittle's a good pick there.
See, at the 5 pick, it's is it too early for Trey McBride at the 208? You hope you get McBride at the 305, but there's no realistic chance that happens. And then it's do you take Kittle at the 305, or is that too early, or do you want to try and get Kittle in the 4th?
Yeah.
Man, in the middle of the draft at like the 5-6 pick, you might just not be in a good spot for tight ends.
I took Tyler Warren in round 10 of this best ball league.
Wow.
I feel like that's pretty good.
I feel like that's probably pretty good as
I
well.
think.
Yeah, Tyler Warren in the 10th, not bad. Once you miss out on one of these top 3 guys, I kind of think you should just punt and try some rookie stuff. We got Devontae Adams going there at the 404. Alvin Kamara goes. Joe Burrow goes. And Ben is on the clock again.
Kamara was a really good pick.
Yeah, I like that in the 4th.
I don't know what to do here.
I can already tell you what I'm going to do.
He's sitting at the top of the ADP. Man. Yeah, give me just 2 shares, I guess, of what's going to be a really bad offense. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Garrett Wilson.
So you went Garrett Wilson. I went Omarion Hampton at the 4-8. Kenneth Walker
Hampton
goes.
was the other guy.
Yeah, Hampton was the one where I was like, if you don't take him, I'm not really going to think about it too hard. I'm just going to take him. Oh, goodness. I'm back on the clock here because we have all these auto picks going. I was kind of hoping Chuba Hubbard would make it to me at the 5th, and he goes 1 pick before I pick.
I was looking at Chuba, too.
That's frustrating. Not going to lie here. There's not a lot of good things at, oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? What the heck? Let's just be in the rookie running back business. RJ Harvey in the 5th.
There it is. Somebody had to do it.
It was going to be me.
Somebody had to do it. Let me give him my boy TJ.
There you go. As soon as I didn't take TJ Hawkinson, I figured that was what was going to happen right there. Hawkinson in the 5th. James Conner goes at the 5-7. I looked at him a little bit. The thing with this new depth at the running back position is that, generally speaking, in the past, I've been looking at running backs in the first 2 rounds and then just like punting until the 6th or 7th and taking a bunch of wide receivers in between. And now I'm like, the 4th round, that's usually a dead zone, but there's good running backs in there. The 5th round, there's good running backs in there.
Yeah, I mean, you think there's I feel like, honestly, the dead zone is the 4th round here with James Cook, Kamara, Hampton, and Walker.
Yeah.
I think I feel good, and it's not that I don't like any of those guys. I think I feel good passing on them and catching a Chuba Hubbard or a James Conner later.
Potentially. The thing with Hampton, it's like, that's the one where he doesn't feel like your traditional dead zone back in that the first part of the year he's probably not amazing. The last part of the year he is great. Whereas I think all those other guys, they might be in a situation where they're good the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks maybe. But then I could see them kind of tailing off a bit or something happening. Maybe not Kenneth Walker. Maybe Kenneth Walker's fine, but I don't know. We got a lot of backs going here in the 5th round. James Conner went. Dave Montgomery went. Isaiah Pacheco went. I'll be honest, I don't think I'll be in the Isaiah Pacheco business this year.
Yeah, no, Pacheco is one I'm avoiding at this price. I'm also avoiding Zay Flowers and Jameson Williams, one of whom Landon took.
If this were best ball, I'd think about it, but Jameson Williams.
Oh, I'd be thinking long and hard.
Yeah, Jameson Williams in standard scoring is, I don't know. I don't know if I can get there.
It's also been hard for me to pay close attention to look at my best ball. But we're in the later rounds now, so which, to be fair, is where a lot of these are won.
Let's see here. So Travis Hunter, Chris Olave and Travis Hunter go at the beginning of the 6th round. I did think about Chris Olave in the middle of the 5th. I just kind of wonder at what point do we get to a point where he goes too low, like we're too conservative on Chris Olave? I don't know what the point is, I guess is what I'm asking.
He's in round 6.
Yeah.
I feel like that's still a safe spot for him because the injuries are a concern. I'm not fully in there just yet myself, so I like that spot for him.
Yeah. It does it mitigates your risk a little bit in the 6th round. 6th round is like all upside, I feel like. You don't have that heavy investment per se.
Yeah, I'm going to ooh.
Dang it.
Ooh.
Dang it.
Ooh.
That's what I wanted to do.
Travion Henderson in the 6th.
That's what I wanted to do. Shoot, man. Okay. Well, here we are.
All right, real quick. Trey Benson or Javonte Williams in best ball?
Trey Benson.
That's who I'm taking.
Thank you for going upside there. There is one correct answer. I don't know what to do where I am here. It was Travion or pretty much bust because I don't feel great about any of these other options. I don't know, man. We'll go Roma Dunze, see if he's any good.
I like that pick. That's a really good upside pick here.
Nice. I'll take that. George Pickens, Travis Kelce, Jalen Waddle, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield in the 7th, Mark Andrews, and I'm back up here.
Is it that time?
Is it that time?
It's that time.
Are we saying it's DeAndre Swift time?
Of course it is.
I think it's Caleb Johnson time.
It's never not. Hold up, I'm on the clock, of course, right as I'm doing this.
You're on the clock in 2 drafts right now.
If it's going to auto pick. No! All right, screw it. Auto pick, I don't care. Who's it auto picking? Oh, it gave me Jake Ferguson. Don't love that. All right, I'm going to take Kyler Murray.
Okay.
That's who I was thinking was quarterback time.
Yeah, I thought about it. It's just that I feel like we're in that tier. When we talked about quarterbacks the other day, or I guess last week now, when we're in that tier now where there's like 7 that are kind of all the same. So you go Kyler Murray, Jordan Addison, Jerry Jeudy, and we've got Alex on the clock.
Sorry, I'm just starring guys right now.
Making sure the auto pick serves you.
Yeah. Did he just? Oh, you twit. Snipe the guy I was hoping to get.
Okay, we have some movement here. We've got a DeAndre Swift sighting in the 7th round. Bo Nix.
Nice.
Justin Herbert. Jonnu Smith. Tyrone Tracy. Jacoby Myers.
I don't love Tyrone Tracy in the 8th. I'll say that.
I don't like that either.
But that was an auto pick, so.
It was the computer. That was the sleeper ADP there doing funky things. Don't love that one. There is a pick that I would love to be able to make here in the 8th round.
Is there?
There is indeed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I would really like to.
I had hopes Calvin Ridley would make it back to me.
He's a pretty good redraft pick this year, isn't he? Not very sexy, but like
yeah, I think
solid.
He's not sexy, but I mean, come on now.
Remember when we said a couple years ago that Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence were going to be awesome?
And they weren't.
They were not. Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about some bad takes we had. That wasn't one of them. Sorry. But it should have been.
Yeah, they were. What was that? It was just mediocrity is what that was?
a meteoric flop.
David Njoku goes in the 8th. Interesting. That's a.
Don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but that's a Joe Flacco bet, is what that one is.
Dylan
Dang
Sampson,
it.
DJ Giddens, or Marshawn Lloyd.
DJ Giddens.
Bingo.
I was really hoping Tyler Warren would
Alright.
fall to me here in the 8th. That was the pick, but I got
He didn't? What? Oh my gosh.
he got sniped.
I was going to take him.
You already have Hawkinson. You were going to take 2 tight ends?
I don't care. Yes.
Crap. Well, that was my I'm going to punt on tight end and just, we'll figure it out. That was going to be my punt option. But he's not there.
All right, I'm going to buy into a little bit of Jaguars hype here and believe what they're saying.
What are they saying? Am I missing things?
They're looking like they don't want to trade ETN. They're going to give him a shot and see what they've got in him.
Okay.
And if they do that, I think he's the best back on the team.
Fair enough. There's still a bunch of quarterbacks here in the 8th round I like, so I guess we're not doing that. My tight end option is gone. Gross, man. This is gross. I don't even know what is remotely worth taking here. I guess this is disgusting, but I guess we'll go Brandon Ayuk in the 8th round. Cooper Kupp, Brian Robinson, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren go, Deebo Samuel, Jaden Reed, Juwan Jennings, Evan Ingram. Gross, and gross. I'm
Do you
taking
not have a
Brock
tight end
Purdy.
yet?
No, I don't have a tight end.
Ooh.
I know.
Sounds like it's about to be Colston Loveland in like round 12.
Yeah, it's about to be real nasty is what it's about to be.
All right, is this guy still on the board? Ooh, he is. Jaden Higgins.
Yeah. It's a good pick. I like that. So we've got a Jaden Higgins, Matthew Golden combo here. And then Fausto's on the clock. He's the Tyler Warren sniper. It's rude. Goes Josh Downs.
You didn't let it get to either one of us.
Nope. So I'm curious with Travis Etienne because I have not been really keeping up with the summer camp hype for whatever that's worth. And I don't know. I guess I just kind of didn't think that ETN was going to be worth much.
It's not I'm counting on him, but like this is what the Jaguars are basically saying is that, hey, because there was all these rumors circulating that he was on the trade block, the Jaguars are done with him. And Liam Cohen said, no, he was never really on the trade block. We're kind of just want to give him a chance and see what he's got first before we just move on from him. So maybe it's coach speak, but if it isn't, I like Travis Etienne and a Liam Cohen offense.
A little bit of a prove it year.
With Travis Hunter, and yeah, it's a prove it year. He needs a contract, and yeah, am I saying he's going to have a great year? No, I'm not. But, I mean, also Tank Bigsby and Basil Tootin, that's not really a terrifying duo behind him either.
No, I think the sexy fantasy pick right now is that Basil Tootin is going to take over the backfield, and I don't see it. Like,
It's possible.
It is possible, but he was always a dynasty darling more than he was. Oh, my gosh.
Loveland. Oh, baby.
Well, I guess I'm not getting Loveland
Rough
either.
start for Josh Johnson. So you're not going to have a tight end this one. That's cool.
No, I'm not. There's nothing. Oh, good Lord.
I mean, I gotta do it, right? I've got to.
Yeah, you got to. What you got to do? Yeah. The Luther Burden appearance.
It had to happen.
Sorry,
Not sorry.
Is there anybody good left?
Not really.
We can go Michael Pittman in the 10th.
How many rounds did you set this thing as? Okay,
This is 12.
I was about to say, please don't tell me you put this at like 18 rounds.
It's a 24-round draft. Alrighty. Well, guys, I'm about to draft the darling of the Scramble Drill podcast, our favorite son.
Yes.
I am in the Kyle Pitts business in a rookie
Yes.
mock or in a
Let's
mock draft.
go!
You know how
But
disgusting
since I
that
took
is?
ETN, I will also take Bashal Tootin.
You gotta, you gotta have the potential starter in that backfield.
Got to.
So the way this thing worked out is I just went heavy running back. My tight end sucks. Brock Purdy's the quarterback, which I don't know.
So what I'm hearing is you don't like how this is going for you.
I like the running backs: Bijan, Hampton, Harvey, Caleb Johnson. It's nice. I feel like the end of the year, if the team isn't awful, you might have a real shot at things. But is the quarterback going to get
if your
crushed
running
every week?
backs, if your running backs kind of entrench themselves and lock in those starting roles, which I mean I think they should, but if they really, pick up production towards the end of the season, you're going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no quarterback to speak of, no tight end to speak of. Maybe Kyle Pitts will finally have the super post hype breakout.
Yeah, right.
Guys, we were in on him 4 years ago and he's just now getting good.
Can that be one of the bad takes we talk about?
That we were in on him 4 years ago?
Well, I mean, everybody was in on him, but that's a community bad take.
Yeah.
We were all wrong.
Man, the Kyle Pitts hype, I remember, you could have traded him for the moon and the stars. Because at that time...
I should have.
You should have. Everyone should have.
Holy crap, I should have.
Everyone should have. It's crazy because at the time, I guess the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm realizing fantasy football it's about who's in the league and who's good, but it's also just about supply and demand. Tight ends were terrible for so long, and then Kyle Pitts comes in and we're like, oh, guys, we're going to have a good tight end. And then now we have good tight ends, and Kyle Pitts goes in the 11th round of mock drafts.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's behind guys like Dalton. I will say I don't agree with him being behind Dalton Kincaid. I would rather have him than Dalton Kincaid.
I probably would too. I'd rather have him over Kincaid, Ferguson, and Goddard, personally.
And Loveland. I would rather have him over Loveland.
I probably would too. You don't feel good about that. That's not something I want to say with my chest, but
Terrence Ferguson or Tyler Shuck? Last pick of a best ball draft.
you shuck. Wrapping things up here in the final round, we have a J.J. McCarthy sighting, a Drake May sighting. Christian Kirk goes. Justin Fields goes. Ben's on the clock. Who's the Mr. Irrelevant for your squad?
Mr. Irrelevant's going to be... Ooh, I like this. Trey Benson.
Nice. I will go J.K. Dobbins. There we go. Read us
And
off
of course,
the squad,
my best
Ben.
ball draft ends right as that one ends. So, I spent the entire time distracted, so I apologize. But it turns out I really like how my team personally panned out. Quarterback, we got leading the way. Kyler Murray, got him in the 7th round. Obviously, we took Jahmyr Gibbs in the 1st round. Round 2, we go A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown as a wide receiver 1 this year. I think I'm not predicting he's going to be a top 5 receiver, but I will say he probably is top 10 this year, and with top 5 upside. Garrett Wilson's the wide receiver 2. Picked up him up in round 4. Look, I know the Jets' offense is bad, but Justin Fields has some rapport from college with Garrett Wilson. Devontae Adams is gone, so Garrett Wilson is once again walking into, what would you say, 140 plus targets most likely.
I'd say that's a safe bet.
So yeah, I like that a lot as a wide receiver too. Breece Hall's the running back too. Again, I think we've moved Breece Hall down too low. We've punished him enough. I understand last season was rough, but please let's not forget who Breece Hall is. Got him in round 3. T.J. Hawkinson round 5. I like T.J. Hawkinson as a top 5 tight end this year. And then Travion Henderson, got him at round 7. Round 6, feel really good about that. I feel really good about Travion.
That's a great 6th-round pick.
The bench is what you would expect. It's Travis Etienne, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Bashal Tootin, Trey Benson. Basically all upside shots.
I went Bijan Robinson at the 105, and then instead of taking the quarterback or the tight end, I went Jackson Smith and Jigba and Marvin Harrison for the 2 receivers. And then I just backfilled with a bunch of rookie running backs. We got Marion Hampton, R.J. Harvey in the 4th and 5th. Came in with Roma Dunze in the 6th, Caleb Johnson in the 7th. And then it's from there all upside shots. Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, and then the Mr. Relevant was J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I will say shout out. I like Fausto's team a lot. Neighbors London back-to-back feels really good. Daniels, top 5 quarterback. And then, again, in Dynasty, you wouldn't love it, but in redraft, he goes Kamara, Monty, Judkins.
That's
that
nice.
Feels really good as 4th, 5th, and 6th round running backs to pair with 2 potentially top 7 receivers. And then Tyler Warren is a great upside shot at tight end. I like how that squad turned out.
I do like how that one turned out. Let's talk some strategy real quick. We've got 2 quick things we're going to do here before we get out of here on the 200th. But we wanted to talk quickly about how our dynasty strategy has evolved over the last 3 years, over the last 5 years, if we're being totally honest. And then to get us out here on a high note, we're going to give you some of the worst takes we've ever had on the history of the show, just to let you know that we take ourselves very seriously and that this is a professional operation.
It is. It's extremely good.
Any thoughts?
Josh, you go first on this one.
Okay. So I'm thinking back to 2019. Things are...
I think that's when we first officially switched to Dynasty, right?
Yeah, I think we really got into Dynasty 2018, 2019. We were playing redraft starting, 2016 maybe?
Yeah, I think I played Fantasy first in 2016, and then played with you guys 2017. That's when we started our old Mully League. 2018, it was still a redraft league. And then 2019, we basically took one keeper. You can keep one guy, and then we're going to do a startup, basically. So that's when we started playing Dynasty, and we never looked back.
2019 was a lovely time. You had no COVID. You had no lockdowns. You could go outside and smell the air. You could touch grass occasionally. It was great. And
people weren't insane.
People were not nuts. You look back, nostalgia is very strong for 2019. Also in 2019, there was a trend that I bought into, and this is more of a dynasty strategy than anything else. But it was, you had to invest in running backs. Dynasty strategy hadn't really become much of a thing in 2019. We now, dynasty strategy is planned. It is precise. People know their stuff. You're coming in with numbers. You have data. There's things that you can point to, and there's kind of an accepted. People have their own ways of doing things, but there is kind of an accepted way of doing things in dynasty. In 2019, all that stuff didn't really exist. You were kind of just everybody for themselves trying to figure it out. And investing in running backs was kind of the in vogue thing to do because you had a lot of good ones. You had the 2017 draft class that was starting to get their sea legs under them, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, and others, Aaron Jones. You got all these running backs, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's so many running backs. I have to have 2 of these really, really good running backs. And I feel like that was kind of the way people were doing things. You wanted a Derrick Henry. You wanted an Alvin Kamara and a Christian McCaffrey or a Dalvin Cook. And there were really good receivers, but it sort of felt like if you didn't have Antonio Brown or Julio Jones, you were kind of just up a creek without a paddle. And so
Those were the good days.
Those were the good days.
Julio Jones, AB, prime before he got killed, AB.
Yeah, before Vontaze Burfict happened, AB. Those were the good days. And I think the way people did things back then was you invested in running backs. I invested in running backs. Many of us invested in running backs. I don't think that's the thing anymore. I don't think that's the way to build a dynasty team. I am now pretty firmly set in build your cornerstone pieces, especially in dynasty, your tight ends, your quarterbacks, get those right, get receivers right, and then lastly, fill with running backs, backfill with running backs. And it's possible that changes a little bit now that we do have some rookies that are going to be good, we think. We might have another maybe 2017 class and things change a little bit, but I do think the tried and true method over the past 5 to 7 years has been invest in wide receivers.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard, for me, it's a hard question or strategy-wise to think about that because it used to be what they call robust RB was the only way to play. If you don't draft 5 running backs or have 5 running backs on your team, you're doing it wrong. And then I feel like CMC is potentially a catalyst for this with the injury bug.
Probably.
And the major running back injury gets hurt, and it's almost like 2021 through 2023, potentially 2024, the running back position almost died in the eyes of fantasy. Like we completely switched. We're like, okay, no. If you're playing dynasty, you need to build around receiver and your quarterbacks in Superflex League. That needs to be it.
Do you remember when people were saying often that you needed to sell your running backs when they turned 27?
Yes. And that was going to be where I go with this is, and tight end had a resurgence and it died again and now it's back again. So tight end is a little finicky too, but I also like if you got one of the good ones, keep it kind of thing. But we're sort of back into a little bit of a resurgence from the running back with Saquon, with Henry, even with Kamara and CMC. Still, like CMC, he brought the running back to its pinnacle, killed it, and he's still alive, like
and
bringing
great.
it back too. So it's really So it's really funny there, but no, it's almost like a question that I don't have an answer to is how to build, and it's more strictly just the 3-year window. Like at this point, all I care about is does the guy have the 3-year window. If I'm looking at a running back, it's not this guy's 21, but he's a running back, so I'm only going to get him till he's 27. Or hey, this running back's 24. I don't know if I want to pay the price to get him. I don't care about that stuff anymore. It's strictly or mainly the 3-year window I try to play in now because like you've got guys with like Derrick Henry. He just signed a 2-year extension.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore that he's 31. And not saying that we should overcorrect too much for the running back position. I'm not going to go over-invest into a Kamara, but it's not sell at 27 and invest in 20-year-old running backs anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, Saquon Barkley just got a $20 million a year contract at 28. So you invest in him. Christian McCaffrey is still getting paid money by the 49ers, and when healthy, he has never been bad. I guess when healthy being the caveat. Derrick Henry's still very good. Alvin Kamara's still very good. I guess the lesson maybe for running backs is the good ones are good and the bad ones are not. Sounds stupid, but if you're good, you end up sticking around. If you're not all that good, you end up bouncing out.
Yeah. And one more thing I'll say towards the age argument I was kind of thinking of is I can think back to valuing players talking about 3-year windows is I remember I've done this, and you were actually texting me one time. This was right after Cam Akers' rookie year. And a guy in one of our leagues wanted Cam Akers, and you were like vehemently not selling Cam Akers. I've got my running back one set 8-9 years. And I remember, not wanting to sell James Robinson at the time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, James Robinson is 22. He just was the RB5. I'm not selling him. That doesn't. It's such a weird conversation to have with that kind of stuff. But
It's investment. I mean, we
I don't
might.
even know where I'm going with that. Yeah.
It's all in team investment. We might have this conversation with Kyron Williams if he doesn't get a contract. It's like he's been great. He's been such a good contributor to your team for multiple years. He's good, but if he doesn't get paid, it's like, man, that's really hard to kind of long-term invest in a player that doesn't have long-term team investment.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Figuring out that kind of value has been a big strategy change. Another strategy change I think you and I have been working on too is knowing your league size and league settings and how they matter and affect things. That's been more of a growing strategy just as you enter more leagues and things. What other strategy changes have we had? I had one in my head, and now I just lost it.
I got nothing for you.
Getting old.
You want to talk some of our worst takes?
Really old. I do not.
Okay, great. At what point do we talk about Kyle Pitts?
I think that's a community bad take. We as a fantasy community missed. I'm not going to take the full heat on that.
You're washing your hands of it. You're like, oh, y'all were wrong too, so
Yeah,
it's not
no.
my fault.
Dude, I even invented a weekly award that we used to do. I would give Kyle Pitts the Weekly Weenie Award every week. So I've been on this train.
Yeah.
I don't take responsibility.
I'll lead off here. This is maybe the most egregious take because,
It's a good one.
well, it's because it's the most
And
recent.
I like this one. I like this one because I even at the time said you're an idiot.
Yeah, you did. But I'm going to preface it by saying I think the process was not bad, but the result has been terrible. So the take was this time last year, I had Anthony Richardson ranked over Joe Burrow in Dynasty. and that one has aged like milk.
If I remember correctly, you had Joe Burrow at like quarterback 8 or 9 in Dynasty.
Did I remember this
It was bad,
as
dude.
being something like Richardson was, maybe it was. Maybe I had Richardson at like 7 in Dynasty and Joe Burrow was down there at, and I think with Burrow, it was questions about, is he going to hit 35 touchdowns every year? Because he's a pocket passer.
Boy, did he.
And he did. So it's one of those things where as players kind of have good seasons and there's the ebb and flow of things, you have about as big of a divergence between two players that you can have. Joe Burrow had an amazing year, and Anthony Richardson was tapping his helmet coming out of games.
He's tired. He needs help.
He's also not good. Remember, there was a moment when last year, it was all three of us on an episode, and Landon Davis showed us a clip where Anthony Richardson tried to complete a pass and threw it in the stands.
He got intentional grounding unintentionally. I've never seen that in my life. Intentional grounding.
It truly was the most.
That's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, that was the most. Oh man, moments. It's like, oh, maybe this is just not good. Anyways, hit us with one of your
And
worst
now
takes
Danny
ever.
Dimes has his job. Mine is also a Colts one, and I would like to say the process also was there. The results were just way off when Matt Ryan signed with the Colts. I was all in on Michael Pittman. I even went as far as to say on an episode of this podcast, I guarantee you Michael Pittman is a top 10 receiver this year.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Needless to say, that didn't happen.
If I remember correctly, this was 2021 or 22.
I think it's 2022. I think 2022 because was it Wentz was there the year before?
Yep.
Or was Wentz after Ryan?
Nope, it was. Oh gosh, actually, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was Wentz before or after, but I remember this was the period in time when I hated Michael Pittman and you loved him, and then things kind of changed over the next couple of years. But yeah, at that point in time, I was like, I don't want him anywhere, and you were like, he's going to be amazing. He ended up not being great.
He wasn't horrible.
No, I mean, he was probably
like
what?
wide receiver 20.
Yeah.
I think he was wide receiver 20 that year. But I was so all in. Like I was like 10 is his floor with Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan was coming from Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I'm like, I've seen him just support all of these guys, and I think like Michael Pittman had been an ascending receiver at that point. Like he had a off rookie year, second year was really, really good, and then he gets Matt Ryan, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to be unbelievable. And it didn't work.
Okay. You have one final bad take, and then I wanted to just take a moment and talk about just the weird, like, I don't even know what to call this, but the weirdest thing that has been a recurring thing on the show that if you've been paying quite a lot of attention to the show, you will have picked up on this. Your run-of-the-mill listener probably will have no idea what we're talking about, but the dedicated folk will know exactly what's going on here. So hit us with your final take, and then we're going to talk about the white whale, I guess, of the podcast.
Yeah, my final take ended up sucking because I remember after Puka Nakua's first two games where he had 35 targets in 2 games and everyone was rightfully freaking out about it. I said, hey, let's not go overboard and, be crazy with Puka's price. And I'm like, dude, if you could trade him for a JSN right now, that's absolutely the right thing to do. And it's turned out somewhat okay if you did that and believed me because JSN has been awesome his second year. And he actually outscored Puka. Of course, Puka was injured, but you went from the dynasty wide receiver 5 to the dynasty wide receiver 10, so that one stings a little.
Yeah, I mean, the process on that was probably good. Unless you were a Puka believer or a degenerate, you were probably okay making that move. I ended up not making a move like that, but I think it was more to do with the fact that I couldn't get a move like that done where I had Puka than it was that I didn't want to trade him.
Yeah. I don't think I remember you necessarily disagreeing, but you were also way more in on Puka than I was, so I was definitely the negative voice there. I'm like, hold on, let's slow down a little bit. Go get the first-round receiver, JSN, which again, like it's not the worst thing. Like JSN's turned out to be great, but you'd rather have Puka.
You would. You definitely would. Okay. The white whale. The whatever this is. So
Sperm whale.
there you go. So there's been this thing where Ben and I have met in the playoffs in one of our leagues. Is it every year now?
It didn't happen last year, but it still involved one of their players.
That's right. So either Ben and I have met in the playoffs, and that has decided the champion, or I have met the Philadelphia Eagles running back in the playoffs. And I think now in each of the past 3 years, the Philadelphia Eagles running back has decided my playoff future for good or for ill, and it's been mostly bad. I've been killed by the Eagles running back multiple times.
Yeah, it's never been good. In fact, let's see here. So the first year you and I met in the playoffs, this is League of Ordinary Gentlemen, so one of our oldest leagues, probably our second oldest league. We met, and if I could pull up the league history here, had picked up Miles Sanders off of waivers early in the year, and we both had really bad weeks that week. We were both great teams, both just had bad weeks. And it ended with Antonio Gibson versus Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders outscored Antonio Gibson, and I won.
It was awful. Oh my gosh, because Miles Sanders
2 years later
was not.
Go ahead.
Well, Miles Sanders was not good. I mean, Antonio Gibson that year, I think he was like RB11, but Miles Sanders was just a guy.
He was okay.
He was fine, but he wasn't great. And to lose to just a guy in the playoffs, that was year one of the Philadelphia Eagles running back, and that was painful. But then it progressed.
It progressed 2 years later. We meet again in the playoffs, and it's a tight match the whole way. It is a tight match. Like, it's Gibbs versus Devontae Adams and Jefferson versus Chase, and I had Cooper Kupp at the time, who was still good. And it came down to a Monday night. I think I was up by 11 points. No, we were basically neck and neck. I was up by like 2 points. And you essentially needed A.J. Brown to outscore DeAndre Swift, who was the Eagles starting running back at the time, by 2 points, I believe. He needed to outscore Swift by 2 points.
Which seems so easy to get.
Which seems extremely doable, given DeAndre Swift scored 9.5 points. But A.J. Brown scored 10.5 points. And I scraped by with a 1-point win.
Brutal.
And then this past season, you once again make it. You and I don't play in the playoffs. I lose in the other bracket to the eventual champion. You have Saquon Barkley.
So I think I'm good.
You finally cut the middleman out. I'm getting the Eagles running back. I have the Eagles running back. He's had one of the best seasons of all time. I'm going to dominate. And Saquon Barkley scores fewer points than DeAndre Swift did 2 years ago. He scores 9.4, and you lose by half a point. The Eagles running back has decided your fate in League of Ordinary Gentlemen 3 separate times in the playoffs.
It's just, you can't make this stuff up. That's really what this is. And to add in another wrinkle for next year, I have now since traded Saquon Barkley. So I have no control over the Eagles running back situation anymore.
Oh, if it comes down to it, I'm going to send whatever it takes to get him come playoff time.
Now it's like a whole thing where if I'm facing the Eagles running back in the playoffs, I'm just going to lose. I think it's if the Eagles running back is involved at all, because you had him this year and still lost. Fair enough.
And it was because he put up a dud game you lost. If the Eagles running back is involved, you have a problem.
Somebody's going to end up sending far over market value for Saquon Barkley at some point because they're just going to need the Eagles running back because they know that will do it for them.
Oh, it's going to do you in.
So anyways.
It's our buddy Alex who has him, and Alex doesn't have a terrible team. What if you meet Alex round 1 and lose?
It very well might happen.
Saquon Barkley has like 40 points.
That could happen. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's very possible. I've got a amazing team, and there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to lose once again to the Eagles running back.
I hope it happens. It's not even personal against you. It would be so unbelievably funny if that happened.
It's such a great story, but it's also just that is the worst of fantasy football pain. And the fact that it keeps happening is just it's awful.
It's like me and Mully losing somehow in heartbreaking fashion in the championship or playoffs.
Yeah. You managed. I did it. You did it. You've been doing it.
I started this trend, dude. I'm the OG.
Oh, my gosh. Playoffs.
At heartbreaking losses in playoffs.
Why can't we just get smashed? Why does it have to come down to the last matchup in a 2-week matchup, the last game, the last player, For me, it was Aaron
You know, it
Jones had a
genuinely-
10-yard run, and that's what killed me
Yeah.
on a 2-week matchup.
It genuinely was easier. This past season in League of Ordinary Gentlemen, when I lost to Landon, I had a good week. I scored like 140, and he put like 197 on me. So I'm like, I never stood a chance. So like it was fine. But that like the last second loss for you by half a point, freaking
It's
sucks.
the worst. It's oh my gosh. And if I remember right, that was also a week where Brock Bowers had, like, they were in garbage time. The Raiders were.
Yeah, and he didn't get any points, any
He
targets.
got no
Like
targets.
the last 5 minutes of the game, he didn't even get a target.
No targets.
And you were worried, and I was sending you texts, and I think this is one of the things that we've agreed to do. This is a strategy change that we're trying this year. We'll talk about this at the very end. I was texting you that, dude, you're fine. It's the Falcons' defense. It's garbage time. You literally only need Bowers to get one catch. You'll be fine. And it didn't happen. I was like jaw dropped, like I can't believe it didn't happen. And the same thing happened in the Mully playoffs, which is a 2-week playoff in that league. And, you know, I had a lead going into it. My team actually had a good week. I just caught once again, I'm the one who gets to catch the uppercut from somebody. And you were like, dude, you're fine. You're going to be fine. Look, you still got Jahmyr Gibbs going. You got this going. Like, you're going to be okay. Of course, it doesn't work out for me. And Breece Hall and Terry McLaurin just poop themselves. So we've agreed that from now on, we are not going to be positive when talking to each other during the fantasy championship and playoffs.
We're just going to text each other, yeah, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, we're not going to be encouraging because honestly, I think that's worse when you're like, oh, dude, you're probably fine. And then it turns out that your suspicions were correct and you definitely weren't fine. I think that makes it worse. Like, I need you to tell me it's not going to be okay because it's not. I know it. It's not going to be okay.
You almost just need to mentally prepare. You're like, yeah, this is going to suck. This is going to be painful.
Well, I'm one of those that's like almost to a bad way. Like, I'm always negative in these situations. Like, it's not going to work out for me because it never does. But like, I know it's not going to work out for me. I don't need you to be encouraging over there. Dude, you're fine. Like, it's been so long. It's been 6 years. You've been so close to getting a championship. It's going to happen. No, it's not. So Josh and I have agreed, like, if we're ever in a tight situation, like, we're going to be telling each other worst case scenarios. Like, dude, I don't think Bowers is going to get a catch.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to come down to Saquon Barkley scoring less than 10 points for the first time all season, or the second time all
And
season.
he's not going to do it. He's not going to.
And Brock Bowers is not going to catch a pass in 2 garbage time drives.
Yeah.
Woof.
It's going to happen in log. You're going to be facing me or Landon or somebody, and I'm going to be telling you what his team's going to do, and his team is going to do it, and it's going to whip you.
Yep. Oh, fantasy football, it's such a fickle thing. It giveth and it taketh away, and I think we have realized over the past decade or so, it primarily takes away. It's mostly bad.
I've had more bad experiences than good experiences.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not true. That's not true. I've generally, I consider myself a pretty good fantasy player. My teams in pretty much all my leagues are pretty good, like contending for the most part. And you know, I generally have a winning record in most of my leagues too. So you could say it's been good. I think it's the bad moments are just so much more painful. They outweigh everything else.
Yep. It's tough, man. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles curse will go away. I won't have to deal with it.
You need Philly not to make – actually, well, it wouldn't matter. I was going to say not to make the playoffs, but it's all regular season.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Or maybe they can be really good and sit everybody week 17. I don't know. Maybe they can go.
I was going to say maybe like the starting running back is, you know, not a serious injury, but maybe he's, you know, a little ankle sprain. They're resting him for the playoffs, but then somebody would pick up Kenny Gainwell.
Exactly. I'm going to lose because somebody picks up Will Shipley, and it's just I'm toast. Anyways,
that sucks.
Anything else you want to add here for the 200th episode of the show before we hop out of here?
No, sorry, I was distracted earlier during the mock. Totally was an accident when I entered an underdog draft. And Josh, you're going to have some editing work to do because, of course, my Wi-Fi's gone out mid-episode, so we we had to make an audible again.
We'll make it work.
We're having a big thunderstorm over here, so it's not my fault.
Yeah, I heard the thunder earlier. It sounded like what it did for us a couple days ago when it woke us up at midnight because it sounded like somebody was playing the drums on our roof.
Yeah, I don't wake up very easily. I'm a
I don't
really
either.
heavy sleeper.
I never wake up.
So if you know where I live, you can try to rob me. You'll probably succeed.
You won't succeed.
No, I have 2 German shepherds that live with
No
me. So good luck.
chance you succeed.
No chance. And I live in the South, so you can imagine there may be some pow-pows in the house too.
Some.
I may or may not know how to use them.
There's an arsenal in that house.
Oh, there's an absolute armory in my house.
Anyway, before we get demonetized, canceled, or whatever else, that'll do it from us. We'll see all you lovely folks next week. Thank you so much for sticking with us for 200 episodes, or if you've hopped on recently and you're just getting used to the whole Scramble Drill experience, stick around. Maybe we'll be around here for 200 more episodes. But have a great one, everybody. We'll see you next week.